Wuthering Heights is so much better than this. In fact, I'm going to reread it right now. Goodbye, Charlotte. Hope to never see you again.
Oh, no. How dare you? Hello and welcome to Spinster's Library. I'm Claudia. This is Bill. You don't have to be silent now. You can say something. Okay, he chooses not to. That's fine.
So far, I agree with everything you've said.
It's great that we understand each other. Today, I'm doing a video where I react to negative reviews of my favourite Victorian classics. Before we get into this video though, I'm going to link a video by Kate Howe, which is pretty much the exact same concept. I will link that in the description box. I haven't actually watched Kate Howe's video at time of recording because I'm worried that we're going to be reacting to the same reviews and I do not want to get spoiled. I did a video like that with Bill a while ago where Bill read out negative reviews of my favourite classics and I got more and more annoyed at them. That video will also be linked in the description box.
And Beetle.
Beetle! Oh, he wants to say hello.
Hello. But he doesn't know how because he's a beetle. Books! Books!
Books! Let's get started. So I gave Bill a few titles of some of my favourite Victorian novels. Mm-hmm. I've already forgotten what they were.
Okay.
Hello, Claudia here from the future. I am editing this video right now and I want to point out that this video does contain spoilers for all of the books that we are discussing in it. So I've included timestamps in the description box so you can skip the books that you don't want to be spoiled about. But just be aware that both the reviews and the discussion of them feature spoilers to a lesser or greater degree. I've also just realised that there is a decent amount of swearing in this video, certainly more than in my usual content, so be aware of that as well.
So, let's begin with the importance of being earnest.
Oh yeah, also these are all from Goodreads.
Guffaw, girl please, everybody tripping over this book is on some ish. This is one of the most eye-roll inducing stories I've read in a quick minute. The characters are so implausible as to be unlikable. Aunt Augusta is a complete gold-digging witch. Algernon is weird and the women are dolts. The ladies have a bizarre hang-up on only marrying guys named Ernest and we have no idea why.
That last point is true. Yeah, okay, so sure, the women really care about having a man named Ernest. Actually, Ernest is a really good name.
It's also like kind of the point of the thing, isn't it?
It's like, that it is ridiculous.
It's like, yes, we know that's ridiculous. That's kind of the whole thing. It's like why is Mario jumping on these turtles is how I understand it.
It's like welcome to the genre of comedy.
Yeah.
But Bill, you consider the name Ernest? Just an idea?
No.
It is a name that inspires absolute confidence.
What about Beetle?
Beetle does not inspire confidence.
Beetle inspires Fluffles.
Alright, okay, oh, he really wants to get away.
Do I, name who these are by?
Oh, The Importance of Being Earnest is by Oscar Wilde.
I'm in the reviews.
No, don't name the reviewers.
Okay.
Nah.
Well, thank you to all of our...
Unless it's like a famous person. If it's like, this review is by Boris Johnson, I can't think of a celebrity, okay?
Okay, next one. A comedy full of unneeded and unnecessary characters who love mediocrity. Wilde shows pretty well the senselessness of noble society and its unwritten rules and traditions, though. After a while you get bored, because one kind of loses himself in the labyrinth of unnecessary jokes and talky people who pretend to be not anybody but everyone. I don't understand the last point.
I don't get the complaint, this has too many jokes. It's like, oh no, it's a comedy. It has too many unnecessary jokes. Did they want this to be a gritty drama about two women fighting over the same man, who then turns out to be two different men, who one of them then turns out to be their first cousin?
That's a bit weird. Like, is this person who clearly doesn't get stand-up comedy either?
Yeah.
Literally just unnecessary
It's like,
jokes.
I find this story slightly unbelievable. Could you please provide me with proof?
All jokes are unnecessary.
Yes.
Just we like them.
Yeah.
Like Minerva.
Very unnecessary, but we do like her.
It's a very cat-heavy special here.
It always is when you're in the videos, because you are the cat magnet.
You know what's going on, don't you? Yes. Okay, so there weren't actually that many one-star reviews.
No, because it's a really good play. The Importance of Being Earnest is the most hilarious of Oscar Wilde's play. It is so good, and you should, if not read, then at least watch it. The 2003 adaptation.
So I've just got one more,
Okay.
and it's not in English,
Okay.
but I think we can guess.
Is it
what
German?
means. No.
Okay.
No, it's not English or German.
All
but
right.
I think we can guess what it's about. Niet genug aliens. 1 star.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fair criticism,
No,
yeah.
actually, fair enough.
The next reviews are for Oliver Twist.
Okay. By Charles Dickens. Bring it on.
I think we're gonna do this in 2 points. He's got 2 points here. I think we'll deal with each in turn. So,
Okay.
first of all, Oliver Twist is a shitty book. His second, following the comedic Pickwick Papers, it shows Dickens reaching for new territory, exposing the hopelessness and injustice of destitute life in London. But it's maudlin, obvious, predictable, lame. Oliver is such... Should we wait till Minerva's done?
I think my viewers are so used to the noise of Minerva scratching at the corkboard. What did she just eat? She didn't eat a pin, did she?
She doesn't look like she ate a pin. She looks like she ate something. Bit
Okay.
of cork, she's fine. Oliver is such a simpering bitch that it's impossible to give a shit about him. Bad people want to use him, good people want to pamper him, you are bored. Dickens will write great books, but not yet.
Kind of agree, but I still liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, Oliver is boring. The book is predictable. Evil people and good people being predictable. I might have to adjust my rating.
Second, Oliver Twist is a hateful book. Dickens has created in Fagin an embodiment of bigotry, a leering, black-nailed, money-grubbing Jew who's nearly always referred to as the Jew, as though Dickens wasn't sure we'd get it. Fagin is the most memorable character in Oliver Twist, and he's inexcusable.
100% agree. The treatment of Fagin in the book is inexcusable. I have nothing to say about this. This is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Does this reviewer successfully convince you to hate Oliver Twist?
It has convinced me that there are sides to Oliver Twist that I hadn't thought about enough before. Continue.
What went wrong here? Oh, about a million things. First, the single reason I decided to read this book is because I got a new dog recently and I named him Oliver Twist. Then I realised I hadn't actually read his namesake. And I really like Dickens and, well, it's orphans, right? And there was this lovely new Penguin hardcover, all nubby and pretty, and now I'm 3 books behind my GR reading challenge, blasted all to hell and back again.
That is an adventure and a half. Maybe just don't name your pets after characters that you don't know, because there might be a nasty surprise in there. Either someone's trying to break into a house, or it's the postman.
Yeah, so another bit from this is that I love Dickens when his characters are over-the-top characters crafted with blind rage against the poverty and injustice they and he experienced at their core. Not when they're shallow, one-dimensional, and here in one case racist, clichés. It was almost like he couldn't describe the horrific conditions of Oliver's early life well enough. He couldn't sustain it. He couldn't get close to it, likely because he was too close to it. What do you think?
The character of Oliver... Alright, there's definitely a knock at the door. Okay, I'm just gonna rhapsodize about Oliver Twist while you get the post. The character of Oliver is really not a very believable person. It's like he didn't have any idea of how to put personality into this child, so he just made him generic good and poor, and his goodness is pretty much his only character trait. His function in the book is to incite sympathy in the reader, and as that it functions very well. But the reason I enjoyed Oliver Twist was not Oliver Twist. Large parts of the book aren't actually about him. Large parts of the book are not Oliver's story, but the story of all of the other characters around him. So yeah, my own personal interest in this orphan child wasn't particularly big, but there was a whole ecosystem around them that I found very interesting to read about. Alright, welcome back.
Thank you.
I have given my opinion on Oliver Twist as a character.
Good. We knew too early the kid was going to be okay.
Yes. Even I, who have not read much Charles Dickens, know that from the way that the story was built up, that Oliver Twist is going to have a very happy ending and end up happy and wealthy and happy and happy.
Okay, let's look at another one.
Okay, what's next?
Another review of... this was all just one review, I think, of Oliver Twist.
Right.
That, so... I hate this book. There is no proper starting or ending of this book. Don't know where it leads. No moral lesson. Not even as emotional as the story of an orphan should be. It's just a useless book.
I take issue with the no moral lesson, because if there's one thing in Oliver Twist, it's an abundance of moral lessons. It's very simple. It's like, poverty is bad. Don't be greedy. Don't steal. It's very simple moral lessons. If this person didn't get it, I fear for their immortal soul.
I feel like you and this person aren't going to get on because they start the review with, I'm one of those freaks who insists on reading the classics.
Wow, aren't you unique? So special. I bet you're really clever.
This story, like all his others, was wordy, long and boring. I had to switch to listening to the audiobook to keep pace, otherwise I would fall asleep after reading a few pages.
I have to say the audiobook for Oliver Twist is really good. I listened to it as well. It's very good.
Alright then.
Read by Simon Vance.
Well, shall we talk about The Hound of the Baskervilles?
Yes, and I will defend this book.
Alright then.
Because it is the best of the Sherlock Holmes stories.
One of the worst books I've ever read. Shallow, predictable and boring. Holmes comes off as a grade A asshole. The characters are one-sided and hollow. I should say I generally do not read mystery, but wanted to give this classic a chance. I should have just stuck to Scooby-Doo.
The last sentence kills me. I think we have to stop this video.
Where are you?
I'm sure we'd both be happy if you continued watching Scooby-Doo instead.
Enjoy.
But Sherlock Holmes, The Hound of the Baskervilles, which, by the way, I should mention that because I know that people are going to say that in the comments. I am aware is a few months post-Victorian, okay? Queen Victoria was dead for a few months when this book came out. We're including this because it is an amazing book and no one is allowed to criticize it. Yeah. I have made my point.
Okay. It's not actually true, though, because the next review of the book says, "This is most certainly the worst written piece of trash I've ever encountered. Not for the story, but for the curious rewrite/edit of literally every sentence. Some person with limited vocabulary and education has changed the text from Fog Bank to Fog Financial Institution, chap, assumed, to buddy and pal, old man to antique man, and on and on. It was an insane experience. I find it hard to believe that Amazon is selling such a junk version of a famous piece of literature in their store."
What? What happened?
This is a new genre of Goodreads review I discovered while doing this. As someone who reads the book and reviews the book as if the book is a singular object.
What happened?
Which only they possess, and they don't have the understanding that other copies exist, but just that this is the book.
So someone read a doctored version of The Hound of the Baskervilles?
Yeah, no, they just think they're reviewing their Amazon purchase, don't they? But there were a few of these. I thought that was quite interesting.
That is very strange. Yeah. Fog Financial Institution is hilarious, though.
Yeah, I mean, I just probably improve it for the previous person who reviewed it. Certainly wouldn't be shallow, predictable and boring then, would it?
No.
Next one. As a detective story, it's gripping, but there's a huge problem with it. Cruelty to animals, which goes unnoticed by all the characters.
This is the thing, right? I know a lot of readers have hang-ups about cruelty to animals in books. Like, it's a thing that puts a lot of people off reading a book when, for example, a dog or a cat gets hurt or killed. Mm-hmm. I kind of get it, but not to the same degree. It's not a deal breaker for me. However, if you know that a book is about a cursed hellhound, you might expect that some bad things could happen to the cursed hellhound.
Yes, I mean, this person adds, the story of the dog makes the whole thing too sad and the way it's treated by the author unbearable. It's quite possible to enjoy literature with no animal cruelty, or where it is condemned, not described matter-of-factly. So they wanted the book about the hellhound, I guess, to have more sympathy for the hellhound. And then it would have been okay. I
get that. There isn't really... So the dog, the Hound of the Baskervilles, is very much not a creature, but a plot device. It's like the murder weapon or something like that. You know, it is treated like an object. So I actually kind of get that approach. And like I said, I know that people feel deep empathy for animals in books in a way that I don't to the same degree. So I kind of get that, you know, like as a personal opinion on the book, the idea that, yeah, this could have been treated with more sympathy. Well, this seems like a good time for me to jump back in from the future and say that is precisely why I am in favor of trigger warnings at the beginnings of books. Yes, including classics, because that means that people who don't want to read about cruelty for animals can see that right at the beginning and don't have to put themselves through this. Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah. We don't all have to read books the same way, despite of what I said just 5 minutes ago.
And the last review says, The Hound of the Baskervilles was a horrible book. I gave it 1 star. I hated it. It was so boring. It is the worst book I've ever had to read. It was too long of a book. There was nothing good in the book. The thing that wasn't boring was when they shot the dog.
Spoilers! Also, kindly fuck off. How is this book too long? It's like 217 pages.
You can cover the spoilers by just beeping the word shot. We already know there's a dog in it.
Someone beeped the dog.
Yeah, dare you. You've got to cover it in all of these as well. If you include this bit, you've got to beep out shot in this part as well.
Next.
Alright. The next book on my list is called Jane Eyre. Rochester abuses mentally ill wife Jane, complains a lot. No, hang on. Let's say that one again.
Comma. There's a comma in there.
Rochester abuses mentally ill wife
Comma.
Jane complains a lot.
That's not a value judgment. That's just a summary of the book.
It's the entire review. It's
Yeah.
not 1 star. So we're going to go on a journey with our next reviewer.
Alright.
Me during this book. Chapter 1. It seems decent. Chapter 8 to 9. Wait, what? 8 years? What?
Yeah, there's a bit, because Jane Eyre starts like it's a boarding school novel, right? Jane, this orphan child goes to this charity school, and then it describes sort of her first school year, and then the narrator goes, I went to school, okay? Let's skip 8 or 9 years to when I leave the school, and then the narration picks up from there. It could be edited better.
Okay. Chapter 15. How did we end up here?
What happens in chapter 15? So this would be possibly when maybe... Oh, of course, that could be the discovery of Mr. Rochester's secret wife, whom he keeps locked up in the attic.
Yeah, and then chapter 20. Jane! Stop!
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this when she runs away? I don't know.
Chapter 30. I don't even know, but things are getting less boring.
Chapter 30.
Yep. Chapter 37... ... Chapter 38, I don't know if I'm disgusted or confused or both.
So I guess that will be the ending when she goes back to Mr. Rochester. I think this review, if I may review the review, could have done with a little more information.
Well, I think it's an interesting genre review. It's like a read-along review.
Well, I mean, funny you should say that, because I've done videos like that.
Yeah.
Where I just react after every chapter, but I try and give a little bit more context. Bill, have you considered that maybe Minerva doesn't want to be fluffled right now?
No, she does.
Okay.
She's just settling down, just below the line the camera can see. Okie dokie.
Okay, any more opinions about Jane Eyre? Because the thing is, Jane Eyre, I like the book, but there is a lot you can criticise about it. I picked it because I knew people were going to have strong opinions that I would probably agree with.
Jane Eyre has been banished to the Red Room. She is tormented by her cousins. Her aunt by marriage can't stand her. Yeah. It is hard to believe there is a Victorian-era novel containing such cruelty to orphans.
What? No, that's very basic Victorian novel trope.
I know, right? I thought that's what Victorian literature is.
I can think of several children who are mistreated more than poor Jane. And her cousins are horrible. Her aunt locks her in the Red Room. But she has a home.
This next review is conveniently split into points, so we'll get some sort of speedy reactions. And it says, here are my reasons why I'll just be wasting my time forcing myself to read this goddamn thing. So this is someone who's been trying to read it for around 4 years and just given up.
Okay.
Okay, so first, my Victorian phase with books is pretty much in the past.
Fair enough.
I'm not even halfway through it and I'm already over it. I found out who her romantic interest is and nope! I'm not doing this.
That's totally fair enough. Mr. Rochester, every time I read the book, I'm like, I'm going to give him a chance this time, okay? I'm going to see if I can see what she sees in him. And then I get, to certain points where he's just the biggest asshole. I'm like, nope. Nope. She could have been single and rich, Bill. She didn't have to go for Rochester. She didn't have to go for St. John. They're both horrible in their own ways. She's a fucking heiress by the end of the book. She could have just been happy.
I could have been single and rich. I know there's no need to do this, as it's like comparing apples to oranges. This is the last point of this one review. But I'm petty, so I'm doing it either way. Wuthering Heights is so much fucking better than this. In fact, I'm going to reread it right now. Goodbye, Charlotte. Hope to never see you again.
Oh, no. How dare you? You complain about Mr. Rochester in the same review that you defend what's his name from Wuthering Heights? What's his name from Wuthering Heights? Fucking Heathcliff.
Kate Bush.
No. Let's not drag Kate Bush into this. You say that Mr. Rochester is an inadequate love interest when Heathcliff is right there being the biggest asshole that ever assholed in any novel with the name Bronte on it.
Okay. So you don't get on well with this reviewer? Not going to be best friends?
I just cannot understand preferring Wuthering Heights to Jane Eyre. Okay, right, tastes are different, apparently, supposedly, allegedly. But saying that you disagree with one aspect in Jane Eyre that is so much worse in Wuthering Heights makes no sense.
Last review of the whole thing. Yo, Jane, you can do so much better, babe. The dude legit keeps his wife in an attic, and you know your ass is headed there as soon as you start to age. Then this pedo will just fucking replace you with a younger woman. As strong and witty as all these white middle-aged women seem to think you are, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay, I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, you just don't 1 star off the back of it.
I think the reason why it doesn't bother me that Jane Eyre makes the worst decision of her life is that when I read the book, I don't care that much for her as a person, so...
So you read a book about this person you don't care about doing a shitty thing?
Yeah, but it's well written.
Oh.
You know, it's like, Jane Eyre and I don't think we would get on in real life. You know, I think I'd find her really annoying, very up herself, and clearly with a terrible taste in men. But it's fine reading about her making those decisions because I don't have to care about her personal happiness. All right.
Anyway, that's all the reviews. So, did you have a nice time?
I was surprised with how much I agreed with the negative reviews of my favourite books.
Maybe you need to have a little look at yourself.
No, maybe there is a thing where you can like something and criticize it at the same time. Maybe you can believe that something isn't perfect but still enjoy it. Maybe you can accept that while you like one aspect of the book, another aspect of the same book is incredibly problematic and should be talked about.
That is so 2015 of you. No, 2016 onwards, everything is either perfect or abhorrent.
Or the worst, yeah. Yeah, I think if you approach Victorian literature with that attitude, you're not going to be happy.
Okay. Well, this was a perfect video. Tremendous.
Tremendous.
Best video ever.
Beautiful. The best video. All the doctors say that my video is the perfect health of videos.
It's so tall.
Yeah, it's so tall. And, you know, I'm immune. I could kiss everyone.
Yep.
Even Minerva.
I could kiss the men and all the beautiful women.
And all the beautiful women. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
This is going to be so dated in a month.